Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabor.
And I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Let's bring you the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal, EcoBank.
Coming up, uncompleted Pokwase in Sawam Road still causing commuters nightmares as contractor moves to improve portions.
And also coming up tonight, more than 50,000 first-year students of public tertiary institutions who applied for academic fee reimbursement yet to be paid.
And also coming up, constellation at 37 Military Hospital as suspected thief climbs tallest tree to escape arrest.
Coming up in business news, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahene dismisses fears of CD returning to unsustainable depreciation after recent blip.
And on the international front, rescue workers in northern Nigeria are still searching for about 25 missing passengers after a boat accident in Sokoto State. We're live around the world on 3news.com. That's our website. We are streaming there and streaming on Facebook as well, so do let your comments come in.
The news now in detail, and the new Patriotic Party's latest amnesty announcement has got tanks wagging. The directive, according to the party, is aimed at rebuilding the party's base. But what notable figures does this directive possibly affect, and what does this mean for the NPP's future? Judith Brown takes a closer look at the details and implications.
The new Patriotic Party is making a bold move. One aimed at healing old wounds, rebuilding its space, and preparing for the long road to 2028. This week, the MPP issued a sweeping amnesty directive, a policy that could reshape its internal politics and the broader opposition landscape. So what's in this directive? The MPP has granted a general amnesty to all members who were suspended or faced disciplinary action. Hence, any ongoing disciplinary cases against these members have been dropped, while those who were expelled or resigned from the party are now eligible to apply for reinstatement. However, there's a condition. Once reinstated, these members are barred from contesting any internal MPP elections for a period of 2 years. Additionally, party executives have been cautioned to stop arbitrary suspensions and to ensure that due process is always followed. Several notable figures are affected by this amnesty. Among those suspended during the 2015 party crisis are Paul Afoko, the former national chairman, and Sami Krab, the former second national vice chair. Their suspensions will be lifted under the new directive, though they will also face a 2-year ban on contesting internal elections following reinstatement. Additionally, members who forfeited their membership in 2023, many of whom supported Alan Tremanting's independent presidential bid, such as Yawabing Samwa, Hobson Adoye, Anohene Nto, and Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, must now apply for reinstatement and will be subject to the same election ban. And yes, Alan Tremanting himself could, in theory, return. The directive applies. But if he does come back, he will be barred from seeking any internal MPP post or flag bearership until at least 2027. For spokesperson for the Movement for Change, Solomon Owusu, this decision by the main opposition New Patriotic Party is insincere.
Through the back door, you got to know that Mr. Alan Tremanting had declared that he would take part in election 2028 using a different vehicle. And so what did the party decide to do? Quickly put up a message just to sway the minds of the teeming support base of Mr. Alan Tremanting to, as it were, go back to the New Patriotic Party. That is all to it. It is not genuine, it is not sincere.
Other high-profile cases include Dr. Nyahu Tamaklo, whose party membership status remains contested, but who could potentially be covered by the amnesty. The directive also extends to members who run as independent candidates following disputes with the MPP between 2020 and 2024. This includes figures like Kwabna Owusu Aduomi, Andrew Amwakwe Siama, Nanakwe Kujia, Vincent Soa Dote, Cynthia Mamle Morrison, and others who may apply for reinstatement, after which they will also face the 2-year restriction on internal contests. And so the big question on the minds of many is, why now? Well, after a bruising 2024 loss, the MPP needs a reset, and the amnesty is strategic. It represents an effort to broaden the party's tent and neutralize factions. And by imposing a 2-year freeze on contests, the party protects its current leadership from immediate power tussles. Despite these potential benefits, the amnesty can also be risky. Loyal party activists who remain steadfast may feel resentment towards returning members, while old rivalries could resurface quietly. Legal challenges might also arise if the 2-year ban is not clearly supported by the party's laws or rules. Moreover, critics may portray the amnesty as a sign of desperation or acknowledgement of past disciplinary failures, as has been the position of the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, Eduji Tamaklo.
You go to somebody's house, he is building. One, he is not sure of the ownership of the land. Meanwhile, he has put a structure and he is now looking to build pillars, the foundation. What will be the outcome of that? And so it may come across as a certain level of desperation.
Well, looking ahead, the amnesty could lead to a stronger, more unified opposition with an expanded pool of candidates and renewed grassroots support, particularly in key swing regions. But all in all, one thing is clear, that the MPP's amnesty directive is a bold political reboot. Whether it leads to lasting unity or renewed infighting will depend on what comes next. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Residents affected by the recent demolition at the Sakumo Ramsar site have called on the state to regularize documents covering their acquisition of part of the protected wetlands. The association says it is ready to cooperate with the state to protect existing wetlands and prevent further encroachment of the Sakumo buffer. Here's a story by Stanley Nibleu.
The Sakumo Ramsar site is one of 6 UNESCO protected wetlands in Ghana. It serves the dual purpose of holding water to cool the atmosphere during dry seasons while providing a habitat for migratory birds and key fish species. However, parts of the land have been encroached upon and developed by private individuals. Former Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Quartey attempted to demolish structures to restore the wetlands' integrity, but faced stiff opposition. This year, the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, led by the Minister Linda Akwele-Oklu, carried out 2 demolitions to curb perennial flooding linked to indiscriminate development in the enclave. Affected individuals counting their losses are now appealing to authorities to temper justice with mercy. The Residents Association says it is ready to work with the government to sanitize the area and protect the core wetland zone.
We are begging for an opportunity to rectify the situation. In our earnest desire to contribute positively to both community welfare and environmental preservation, the Harbourview Resident Association is fully prepared to collaborate with the government and implement robust solutions to mitigate potential flooding occurrences and actively restore the wetland's ecological function.
They also want government to regularize their stay on portions of the land while ceasing further sale of areas earmarked as buffer.
Currently, the built-up areas translate to some 8,000 to 9,000 plots. We humbly recommend that the government consider the significant revenue potential that can be derived from regularizing structures located outside the core boundary. Meanwhile, this regularized portion should still be maintained as a Ramsar site to ensure compliance to environmental goals by all the various resident associations.
Meanwhile, traditional authorities admit to having erred by selling state-acquired lands for private development, but are calling for government intervention.
Well, I can answer that I can march. I can one motion. She no, we are saying what home.
We acknowledge that Ramsar sites are protected areas and are not meant for development. However, portions of the land had already been leased out prior to this understanding. We kindly request the government's understanding and clemency in this matter. We respectfully assure the authorities that no further portions of the land will be sold or leased.
As calls for compromise intensify, the future of the Sakumo Ramsar site hangs in the balance between safeguarding Ghana's fragile ecosystem and addressing the human cost of resettlement. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
And here at Media General, we will be shifting our focus on a number of roads in the country and what government has said it will be doing about them. We are starting from the Nsawampo.
Exactly, and a coalition of commercial transport operators is set to strike on Thursday, August 21, bringing activities to a standstill on the Pokwase-Nsawam road in protest to the poor nature of that road. Despite drawing attention to the issue, the coalition claims government has not taken sufficient action to address the problem. A report by Na Ashoko Mensaduku.
We're coming to you from the Pokwase-Amasaman Highway, where drivers, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union and the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council have issued a 7-day ultimatum to the government to fix the roads, otherwise they will withdraw all of their services. Starting this Thursday, they issued a press statement on August 14th, complaining about the deplorable state of the roads. As you can see behind me, I'm just in front of the overpass, which is still under construction. It has rained this morning. The roads are bad. The ground is wet. There are potholes. There are a lot of long vehicles plying this road, as well as trotro drivers, taxi drivers, and so on.
I direct traffic here. The road is in a very bad shape.
What is the driver for say 50 Thursday? Omanya road now. Omobeko strike.
Those who use the route to various destinations will suffer if the drivers decide to stop using this route.
We plead with the government to work on the roads. It will really help both the drivers and the traders. We will leave the road when the road is fixed. The president should be sympathetic and fix the road for us. The mud is too much. We are in the rainy season. Some drivers are getting involved in accidents due to the condition of the road.
Yeah, I think the road is very bad because especially when it rains, the road is very bad, and I think the government has to do something about it because when it rains like this, the vehicles moving in and out, sometimes they get stuck on the road. I normally pay 10 cedis, yes.
It used to be 7 cedis, right?
7 cedis, exactly, yeah.
All right, and those are some views from some road users here on the Pokwase-Amasaman Highway, complaining about the deplorable state of the roads. We've spoken to some market women, some passengers, and some drivers, and they say that, yes, if they do not see some work being done before Thursday, they will withdraw their services. The passengers don't agree. They are pleading with the drivers not to do so. But the one thing that runs through that everyone here is asking for is for the roads to be fixed as soon as possible. Nashako, coming to you from the Amasaman Pokwase Highway.
Let's go to the presidency now. President John Dramani Mahama has granted amnesty to 998 prisoners across the country following recommendations by the Prison Service Council and consultations with the Council of State. The decision was made in line with Article 72(1) of the Constitution, which empowers the President to grant pardons, reprieves, or commute sentences. out of the total of 1,014 cases recommended, 998 prisoners were approved for release or sentence reduction. The beneficiaries fall under specific categories, including first-time offenders, the seriously ill, elderly convicts, nursing mothers, and inmates serving death or life sentences. So this was contained in a statement signed by Felix Kwachi Ofosu, who is the Minister in charge of Government Communications and spokesperson for the President. Let's take you through the specific individuals or convicts who are likely to benefit from this amnesty. So you can see that first-time offenders, and that's a whopping number of 787 individuals as first-time offenders are currently in prison. The President is granting them amnesty. Those on death sentence, or those who have been sentenced to death, which is to be commuted to life imprisonment, make up about 87 of them. Then we have people who are on life sentence, which is to be commuted to 20 years definite term. There are 51 of them. Persons who are seriously ill are 33 in number. And that is part of the 989 individuals benefiting from the President's amnesty. The rest are persons who are 70 years and above, irrespective of what offense they committed. So far as they are 70 years and above, the President is saying they can get his amnesty. They are 36 in number. Nursing mothers currently in prison, there are 2 of them. And then those who have put in specific petitions that have been considered by the President and being granted amnesty are 2. So that's the story that came from the office of the President earlier today.
In more news tonight, more than 50,000 first-year students of public tertiary institutions who applied for academic fee reimbursement under the no-fee stress policy have still not received funds. As of the first week of July, government had reimbursed the fees of some 49,000 first-year students out of the over 140,000 applicants who applied through the portal. A report by George Queenan.
Out of the over 140,000 applicants who accessed the portal, a little over 49,000 first-year students have been reimbursed, leaving the fate of more than 50,000 students hanging. It appears government justification of reimbursing funds after validation is taking forever. The policy, which was a key campaign promise by President John Dramani Mahama, aims to ease the financial burden on tertiary students, their parents and guardians while enhancing access to higher education. Solomon Spencer, although skeptical, is still hopeful of becoming a beneficiary of the policy, just like his other colleagues who took the first shot following the opening of the portal in July. Though a late applicant, he expects to be reimbursed to enhance his pursuit for higher learning. 20-year-old Judah Buaji Mensa, on the other hand, is one of the many first-year students whose fees have been reimbursed under the no-fee stress policy. He is pursuing economics, information studies, and theatre arts. More than a month into payment, he has exhausted virtually everything. But he tells me it was for a good cause, unlike others who want to keep it for next year's academic fees.
It's finished. It's finished within 1 week. I was not having any money to change my phone and start doing good content. And as an economics student, I use some of the money to invest into clothes, like this clothes I'm wearing like this. Yeah, that's what I sell on campus. Most students really don't have money on campus, and most students are trying to start a business, but didn't have the funds to start. So if the government has decided to return our fees to us, then people are ready to start their business. Yes, if only they are thinking rationally as a student.
His roommate is finding it difficult to access his funds, although he applied.
Most of the students did mistakes when applying. Some people change their Ghana card ID and certain things. That's why I'm sure there is a delay.
The deadline for submitting applications under the policy for the 2024-2025 academic year was August 7. This was an extension of the original deadline of July 31.
Well, let's go to the portal and assess the current state of it. And so this is what it looks like. So this is the portal. Apply for no fee stress, reimbursement of fees, apply for a loan. Okay, so we're actually trying to see if we can apply for the no fee stress. So this is under scheduled maintenance. Clearly, it's out of service now. So no student is eligible to access the portal as it stands now.
Prince Chene, a medical student, is surprised the whole policy has been a success story.
Okay, so for the medical program, we all receive the same amount of funds. I think somewhere around 2,700. And whether fee paying or regular, it was the same. I don't know why it was done that way, but that's what we did receive. I told my parents about it and they asked me to keep it.
So are you sure the money is intact?
Oh, why not?
You not sure?
I've chopped it, don't worry.
He has equally spent everything, which was more than 2,600 cedis.
A lot of people had their accounts pending, so they went to the computer systems. They have the no fee stress office here, and they told them it was because of some challenges they had in selecting their programs. So when you open the portal, there are a number of programs that you see. So even for medicine or computer science, there are 1 or 2 programs, and when you pick one, it's leading you to the right path. The other is resulting in the pending situation.
It looked like a hoax until some students actually showed receipts of reimbursement of their school fees. Hopefully next year, the story might change. More students would now apply. George Queenan, TV3 News, University of Ghana, Accra.
And joining us on phone is Director of Corporate Communications at the Student Loan Trust, Obin Ajimnim Boatin. Thank you so much for your time. Now, first of all, our findings reveal that more than 50,000 first-year students who applied for the academic fee reimbursement under the no-fee stress policy have not been reimbursed. It's more than a month after this application, and they're getting agitated. What exactly is the challenge? Hello. Mr. Ajimnim Boatin, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. I was finding out more than 50,000 of these students are saying they still haven't been reimbursed a month after the application. What exactly is the challenge?
All right. So, first of all, let me say good evening to your cherished viewers this evening, and then thank the President of the Republic of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama, for honoring his promise to pay academic visa fee for 1,100 students every year. I don't know where you are getting the figure from. Did he say 50,000 plus students? I don't know where you are getting the figure from, but it is worth to note that the Student Loan Trust Fund, as we speak, has been able to reimburse academic user fee to over 120,000 students across the country. We are talking about students who have gone through the system, through our portal, are being validated by the institutions and being validated by the Ghana Commercial Bank, and we've paid them. And so in every system, when we are dealing with such issues and numbers, there will be discrepancies, there will be issues, and then challenges. This is not an exception. And so we've encountered a lot of challenges. One has to do with the mismatch of information that was presented to us by students. And so you pick an institution like Amstead, Kumasi, that is the former University of Education, Kumasi campus, where students applied and then they didn't see their programs, then decided to select different programs thinking they will be paid. But we pay through accredited programs in the institutions. So institutions will present to us their programs, and then those programs must be accredited by DTEC before you are paid. So we pay accredited institutions as well. And so some of these students have mismatch of information, their names not corresponding to what they give us on the portal. Some of them have issues with their Ghana card. You will see Kwaku Ose Manu, but in applying, you will see Kwaku Manu. And so it becomes a bit of challenge paying such a student, knowing how people are infiltrating into the portal.
All right.
As I speak to you, we're anticipating just a little over 150,000 nationwide. But when you look at the portal and the application that has come through, about 200,000 have applied. And so what it tells you clearly is that there are a chunk of students who have applied that are doing unaccredited programs in their various institutions.
Right.
And so these challenges are there.
Right.
However, we want to assure everyone, want to assure every Ghanaian student who has passed through the system, who has applied successfully, that their money will be reimbursed. In no time, this is done in batches. A good number has received that, as I indicated earlier.
All right, now there are also fears and concerns that these funds would be re-added to next year's academic fees. Is that the case?
That is very false. That is very false. You know, we brought up a deadline that would enable us to be able to finish with this academic year's own and then move to the fresh students who have been admitted in the various public tertiary institutions across the country. And so every student that has gone through the portal or gone through the system that is being validated will receive their monies. A lot of students have gone through the system. I mean, before the deadline, some of them have applied. And so the system will validate them and then will pay. Various students are at various stages of the process. And so once we know that, okay, Mr. A or student A has been validated, the person will be paid. And as I speak to you today, we had an emergency meeting where we discussed the next batch of students that will be reimbursed. And so every Ghanaian student must be reassured that President John Dramani Mahama's promise to reimburse their school fees for them will be done accordingly.
Thank you so much for your time. Obin Ajinim Boateng, Director of Corporate Communication of the Students' Loan Trust Fund.
We'll go on to some other stories now. The Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has held a meeting with the hierarchy of the Ghana Prison Service, led by the Director General Patience Bafo-Boni. The discussion bordered around the challenges facing the service and how it could be addressed. The Vice President spoke about the need to strengthen public education and encourage collaboration with other state agencies and the media. She commended the service for its interventions, particularly its promising campaign in agriculture. Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman assured the leadership of government's commitment to improving conditions within the prison service, noting that as a responsible nation, it is the duty of government to ensure dignified conditions for inmates, to offer meaningful reforms, and to provide the necessary support for their reintegration into society.
In more news tonight, a suspected male thief held security personnel on guard for close to 8 hours in the early hours of Monday while he took a nap on the tallest tree around the 37 roundabout in a bid to escape arrest. The man, whose identity is not known, was caught attempting to steal a banner on a billboard.
It was an unusual scene at the 37 Military Hospital roundabout in Accra Monday dawn, the kind that drew curious glances and whispers. Around 1 a.m., a joint team from the Ghana Police Service and the Ghana National Fire Service responded to a situation. A man believed to be attempting to steal a banner from a billboard fled, not by running, but by climbing up a tall tree nearby to avoid arrest. According to eyewitnesses, the man perched himself right at the top and for nearly 7 hours refused to descend. Not even flashing lights, sirens or gentle persuasion from the security personnel could convince him to come down. An eyewitness said the man looked determined to sleep on the tree if that would make him escape. By around 7:30 a.m., as the crowd thinned and security personnel had left the scene, after fruitless attempts to arrest him, the suspect quietly descended and vanished before anyone could stop him. Witnesses claimed he appeared to be holding a weapon, so no one dared approach him.
Before
we realized, he had descended. He was trying to steal the banner off the billboard. He's a thief.
And didn't be kind of a same for you. And a penny about no said Dianum. I don't be good, be brave. Police was no my way on Pesabia on betting.
The crowd was massive and the police was also ready to pick him up. But he refused to descend. He waited until the police left and he ran off.
Into your cry, pine confu. Mamma and this are by Fuminaja. Wako, a within on to me, Sunny, I saw your soul be real. They bother in our police for share.
I actually thought it was a witch that had been caught up in the tree until he descended and ran off.
It's still unclear why the attempt to arrest him was abandoned.
For close to 8 hours, he perched on the tree like a human bird in hiding, escaping from justice with a smile. But there's a saying, every day for the thief, one day for the master. Sarah Apenko, TV3 News, Accra.
Still watching News 360 on TV3, you want to share. Right, we'll be back with business, sports and entertainment. Stay with us.
I love President Chaco.
Reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle, from the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital,
from the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani,
from the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust, impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News, leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN. Touch concentrated perfume.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obudu. Now, Ghana's labor market continues to face significant challenges despite signs of economic recovery. A new World Bank report warns that job creation has lagged far behind population growth, with young people and women bearing the heaviest burden.
According to the bank's 9th Ghana Economic Update, the economy created just 250,000 jobs over the last decade, compared to 2.7 million new entrants into the labor force. The report highlights high youth unemployment, skills mismatches, and widening gender gaps as key obstacles. Youth labor force participation has dropped from 62% to 41%, while only 13% of workers are in high-quality jobs, such as formal wage employment or skilled professions. Most remain in informal, low-paying work. The bank recommends scaling up private sector-led job creation with emphasis on agribusiness, manufacturing, and digital services. It also calls for expanded technical and vocational training, targeted youth unemployment programs, and stronger measures to support women's inclusion in higher value sectors. Analysts say, without bold reforms, Ghana risks a growing employment crisis that could undermine the benefits of recent economic stabilization.
Former President John Agyekum Kufuor has admonished African countries to take advantage of emerging global partnerships that can spur economic growth. He welcomed former President of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, to his residence ahead of the UPSA 2025 Leadership Lecture.
Historic and symbolic. Former South Africa President Jacob Zuma led his delegation and the UPSA leadership to first visit the Gamanche at his palace. A rich cultural display unfolded to receive the dignitaries, libation poured, and a special welcome followed with due homage paid to King Takichuru II.
We are hoping that next year it should be possible to see mutual exchange of visits also from Ghana to South Africa to interact with traditional rulers from South Africa.
Vice President of South Africa's MK Party stressed the need to reduce over-reliance on the dollar in cross-border trade.
Heavy reliance on the dollar has led to a situation whereby African countries, in particular, continue to depend on Western countries as if we can't stand on our own. Through that initiative, which was President Zuma's brain, we are able to create a totally different forum.
The freedom of nations define their own path. That's what you have with BRICS. Among the Ghana people, you are family. To me, you are a big brother. May your visit strengthen the ties of friendship and remind us all that true leadership is service, courage, and vision.
The delegation then journeyed to visit former President John Kufuor to formally introduce the UPSA Leadership Lecture to him. It was a period of reunion for the two former heads of state.
South Africa is the first African country to have joined BRICS. Initially, it was when it was BRICS, but South Africa added to it in our Polish BRICS. It means someone saw something that the countries lost. And that is the technology people see. It's sharing it. It makes you enjoy it. Therefore, the best person to tell the story, the best person to share the story fix. It's the best news.
Former President Kufuor commended the university and was hopeful the event would spark genuine interest and conversation among African leaders.
I'm sure the audience will be all ears to hear the President on the wisdom that enabled him to take the initiative that he took. But for South Africa, Africa would not be represented at all in this evolving organization. And as I said, we are all ears. Tomorrow, God willing, we'll be there to support and hear him.
The BRICS conversation is expected to help government manage their currencies well and engage in strategic alignment. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Peduase.
Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Itiahene has downplayed concerns that Ghana is headed back to an era of steep and unsustainable cedi depreciation. The local currency depreciated last week, rising to about 10 cedis 81 pesos from the long-time 10 cedis 30 pesos average. But Dr. Itiahene maintains that the recent slip is only a temporary blip and does not signal a reversal of the gains made so far this year.
Bank of Ghana has got so much reserves, although the World Bank and the IMF is currently speaking against that. But you see, once upon a time, our import cover was 1.6 months. Today we are talking about 4.2 months cover. So it means that Ghana has gone a long way creating the stability of the currency. So for me, the marginal depreciation does not actually worries me much, because we have what to do to intervene, and we got to intervene. Those who are saying that intervention is too much for us, I mean, we have come from less than, I think, $1 billion reserve, and we're talking about 11.1. I think if you check Bank of Ghana history, this is the biggest reserves we have had since 1957.
The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is calling for a comprehensive review of the banking sector's debt recovery regime to improve loan repayment and unlock credit for businesses. Non-performing loans currently exceed 20%, prompting banks to scale back lending to the private sector. Speaking to 3 Business, Greater Accra Regional Chairman of AGI, Chuna Makpelo, said pragmatic reforms are urgently needed to ensure businesses can access the financing required to sustain operations and drive growth.
If you recall, in the days of savings and loans and financial house and so on, UT, financial services and so on, they're able to recover as high as 96% and so on. The question is, how are they able to do it? And those days, the loan was so expensive. I mean, 6% per month, but they were still able to recover so much. It means that the loan recovery regime at the time was effective and useful. Typically, most human beings by nature are not willing to pay the same rate as they are willing to collect. And so there has to be a lot more effort in making sure that the loans are recouped. I recall those days that UT officials from these financial institutions who can actually even come to your church, and then at the end of the day, they're able to get the money paid. My thinking is, why don't you relook at the regulations in place for loan recovery and loan repayment to ensure that we minimize the bad loan phenomenon and expand a lot of access to the many more people who need the loan.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obudu. Thank you for watching. Up next is sports, but before that, we'll bring you updates on the currency and commodities market.
insecticide spray and coil.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. Let's start off with our first story where Bournemouth forward Antoine Semenyo was recently abused in the Cherries tie against Liverpool in the first half of the Premier League opener against Liverpool in the Premier League. Now, police have banned the 47-year-old man who hails from Liverpool from football games in the United Kingdom as things do stand. My colleague Andrew Sefa-Banfo has more in the following report.
47-year-old man from Liverpool has been arrested and conditionally bailed for allegedly racially abusing Bournemouth forward Antoine Semenyo during the team's 4-2 loss to Liverpool in the Premier League opener. As part of his bail conditions, he is banned from attending any regulated football match in the United Kingdom and is not allowed to go within 1 mile of a designated football stadium. The said incident occurred at Anfield on Friday, prompting the referee to briefly halt the game in the 29th minute. Semenyo later scored twice for Bournemouth but couldn't prevent the team from losing. Merseyside police are investigating the incident and working closely with Liverpool Football Club. Semenyo expressed gratitude to the football community for their support, saying the night at Anfield will stay with him forever because of how the entire football family stood together. He thanked his teammates, Liverpool players and fans, as well as Premier League officials who handled it professionally. The Premier League and the Football Association have condemned the incident. The Premier League is also conducting an investigation into the matter, while FIFA President Gianni Infantino assured the Ghanaian will receive support from the organization's Players' Voice panel.
Well, we are on with Antoine Semenyo as investigations do continue. Let's move on from one Ghana player to the other, and that's the Leicester City player Fatawu Issahaku, who has been on a journey destined for greatness. Now, from Steadfast Academy in Tamale to the King Power Stadium at Leicester, he radiates joy and happiness that merges with the pace and style of play on and off the pitch. In the following report by my colleague Akosio J, she highlights the jolly journey of Issahaku from Tamale to Leicester.
After winning Player of the Tournament at the 2021 U20 African Cup of Nations, Abdul Fatawu Issahaku was destined for global stardom. His shooting skills, pace, and sheer joy on the pitch made him a standout. The former Steadfast Academy player embarked on a journey cruising through Ghana Premier League side Dreams FC before signing a 5-year deal with Sporting CP in 2022. However, after 2 years, his progress began to stall. He was, as a result, moved to the Sporting CPB side. Seeking a fresh start, Fatawu moved to Championship side Leicester City. 40 games and 6 goals later, Leicester were back in the Premier League. This move was a testament to hard work, dedication, and the power of dreaming big from a Tamale boy who once wept when his team lost regional championships to a player helping his club return to top-flight football. Transitioning from Steadfast Academy in Tamale to Leicester City became a beacon of hope for young Ghanaian footballers. In 2024, Fatawu made one of the biggest sacrifices of his career, choosing between cementing his position at the King Power Stadium or making his AFCON debut with the Black Stars of Ghana in Côte d'Ivoire. He chose the former and got exactly what he wanted. He became one of the most admired players at Leicester City and earned a permanent transfer. Former Leicester City player Gary Lineker raved about Issahaku's influence, sharing how he and his family would lament whenever Fatawu wasn't in the lineup. He simply described the Ghanaian as special. Shay Given, former Manchester City goalkeeper turned pundit, also lauded Issahaku as a special talent. But how do you announce the transfer of one of the most cheerful players in football? Well, you produce music and a video to unveil him. The joy of a young African boy from Ghana making it big in one of the top leagues in the world. One thing stands out about Fatawu. He may not be the best player in the world, but no one comes close to the premium he places on playing with joy. His dance videos and other content on social media radiates happiness. That same joy carried him through a tough rehabilitation journey following an ACL injury that sidelined him for most of 2024-2025 season. Yet, nothing could wipe the smile off his face. He has returned from injury, now back in the championship, but still full of hope and energy that he can return to the Premier League once again. Fatawi Shahaku's impact may not have won a Premier League trophy, but it marked a time when a boy with a dream could live his black boy joy.
Well, that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on News 360. You can get some more stories on our social media handles at 3sports. My name is Oreko Ampofo.
Reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle. From the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital.
From the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani. From the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes.
Entertainment.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now in entertainment this evening, we turn our spotlight to Ghana's Most Beautiful, where the much-loved reality show witnessed the first eviction last night. After 4 hours of captivating performances, Buba, representing the Northeast region, became the first contestants to lead the competition this season.
It's a sacred event amidst the performance of rituals, which we do not see, hear, or feel.
Over the past weeks, the contestants have embarked on an inspiring cultural journey, mastering storytelling, showcasing regional pride, and promoting tourism. This week, they took on perhaps the most emotionally charged challenge yet, presenting the sacred and unique funeral rites of their respective homeland. What unfolded on stage was nothing short of powerful. Each presentation was a rich blend of ritual, symbolism, and storytelling, a vivid tribute to Ghana's diverse and deeply rooted funeral traditions.
And journey into the ancestral world. Take this calabash of water to quench your thirst.
The contestants reminded us that beauty transcends appearances. It lives in the traditions we remember, the heritage we honor, and the stories we pass on.
New birth, new beginning, new power. After this is done, he then adores me in the war regalia, because death called, so I must answer. Baba.
Each dance, rehearsal, and heartfelt tale added another vibrant part to the ever-growing cultural tapestry of Ghana. In the end, Asakia was awarded the star performer.
This performance should be recorded in the Ghana's Most Beautiful Hall of Fame. And that performance was rendered by Asakia.
So first of all, I would want to say a very big thank you to the National Theatre. I remembered telling them my idea and I was thinking they would rebuke me a little, but then they told me, this is very brilliant, let's see how we can help you. It's a lot from my team, my aunties, my uncles, everybody bringing their ideas on board. A lot went into this particular performance and I'm glad it paid off.
Buba of the Northeast region was announced as the first evictee of the season.
Do it one more time for Buba, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Whether you are evicted, first, second, you are a queen. Imagine the whole region. You are able to pass through the audition, the medicals. You've come, you've learned, you've represented them, and yes, of course, I am a queen already. I know that sometimes they say it's not just about the crown, but what keeps you going after you are evicted, or what keeps you going, what you have learned, what you have taken from the house. And I can't lie. I've learned a lot from this house, actually. I've learned a lot. Things that I didn't know how to bond. I've learned everything, and I'm wishing all the remaining 15 a very good luck and the best. They should do their best in this competition.
Well, I hope you're voting for your favorite by dialing *713*13# to keep them in the competition. That's it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you, Noella, for the latest in the world of entertainment. And talking about the world of sports, at 9 p.m., the sports team will come your way with Sports Station, so do make a date. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I am Portia. Gabor do join Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana tonight. Good evening.